Do we want into the mythic structure, into the theological structure, or do we want to be sent out of the tent like Miriam?
I don't think of myself as a pioneer. I think of myself as trying something, and it wasn't accepted.
Hi, I'm Rachel Sklar, here after the Salon with documentary filmmaker Lilly Rivlin, whose newest film, Esther Broner, Weave of Women, premieres this March. Welcome, Lilly.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your latest film, about Esther Broner, and why did you want to make a film about her?
I only decided to make a film about Esther Broner 3 days before she died, and that means that I don't have an interview with her, but I wanted to make a film about her because I felt that the world really needed to know who is Esther Broner. She wrote 11 books. She was an activist, but what's the most important thing about her in my film, and maybe that is because that's what will last, that's her legacy, is she co-wrote the Women's Haggadah and made a feminist Seder for 38 years.
Wow.
Right. And I thought that the feminist Seder is something that needs to be passed on. It's part of her legacy. But also, what I did was I wove together, and weaving is a metaphor in my film, because Esther wrote a book called A Weave of Women. And so I wove together the story of Esther's life and the feminist Seder as it evolved over the 37 years.
You said that you decided 3 days before she passed.
Yeah.
Did you know that she was ill, or was it a coincidence?
No. I mean, we were all visiting the Weave of Women.
Okay.
Were visiting
So you were
the
part
hospital.
of that weave?
I was part of that
Okay.
weave. But the decision was, we were sitting around having a Shabbat dinner, a few of us, and it was just my gut, and I do a lot of gut action. My gut said, you got to make a film about Esther. She cannot be forgotten, and that's what happened.
So your weave of women, was it like, did it feel like a collaboration between your this group?
And my filmmaking,
Right.
they're all, most of them are in it. They're producers. I made them producers as well. But it was also a part of a problem, because some of them didn't want. I'm totally against making the subject of my film a saint. It's called hagiography. I love
Right.
that word. So people were protective about Esther. So I show her warts and all, but she comes out, you'll see the film, I hope.
No, it sounds
She
amazing.
comes out looking really wonderful and human.
So I'm interested in how you feel about representations of women in media, on television, in film, and the dearth of women's stories. Is that something else that drove you? Is it like, here is a woman who made such a difference, who took a staple of Jewish culture and like forced it to be inclusive of women? Was that part of what drove you? Was like, this is a woman, and women's stories have to be told, they have to be surfaced?
This is what I do. I've made 7 films. 1 was commissioned. The other 6 films are basically about women. The first film I made was about my family reunion, and 2,500 people came to the reunion. But my family has always had chronologers, and I was very conscious that I would be the first woman chronologist, historian. And all my films have a woman's consciousness. So I made a film about called When Will the Fighting Stop? Israeli and Palestinian women fight for peace. That's women. I made a film about Grace Paley, a very well-known writer. But I tend to make films about women who are activists and political. So that's my thing.
What about Bella Abzug?
Oh, she was part of the group.
Ah,
Oh yeah,
okay.
wow. She's in the film. I mean, a little bit that I had, a clip. So Bella was part of our sisterhood, if you will.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When you referenced her in the Salon, I thought you were doing so because obviously she's a towering historical figure, but she's a towering personal figure for you.
Totally, totally.
Wow.
And yeah.
So hit me with a great Bella Abzug story that the world should know.
Oh God.
Under her hat.
I can't hit you with a
No.
story like that, but you know, it makes me think of, there was an article in the New York Times back, the last page, and it was a woman talking about Bella's temper, and that's what I was going to hit you with. I mean, I always got a ride home with Bella, and she had somebody driving her, and we would keep on talking until she lost her temper. So she had a violent temper, but she was the greatest.
You know, I can't imagine being able to do that kind of work at that time without having a temper, because I think that would would help you cope.
Yeah, I think that's true. She was very angry. And I worked with her on organizing and the first feminist international conference in Jerusalem. I worked with Bella and Letty. So
What year was that?
1988.
I wish there was Instagram back then. Would have loved to have seen the candid shots. Well, thank you so much for being here on the Salon and for this little slice into the making of this film. It's amazing. I mean, it sounded like a personal film to start, and now it feels so very personal. I cannot wait to see it.
I hope you love it.
I already love it.
Okay, thank you.